Last one thing we're going to be looking at is topic 5. So this is radical operations. I'm going to write that right here, radical operations. So with radical operations, when you're looking at addition and subtraction, the first thing I want you to find is your like terms. So like terms, when we're talking about roots, are things that have the same radical. So on number 1, I see radical 18, and I see radical 18 right there. When that happens, you add your coefficients, because if you think about it, this term right here is telling you you have -3 of a radical 18. This term right here is saying you have a +2 radical 18s in your hand. So when you add these two together, you're combining the -3 plus 2. We know -3 plus 2 is -1 square root of 18. And we never write the -1 when it's a coefficient, so it's just negative square root 18. That 2 radical 2, it didn't have anything to combine with, so it's going to come along for the ride. So 2 plus radical 2, and then plus 2 radical 2. Now that you've combined everything, then you're going to look to see, can I simplify my roots? So by doing your factor trees. So here, this 18, we know 18 is 9 and 2, and then 9 is 3 times 3. I see a group of 3's right here. They're going to come out and multiply to that -1. So now we have -3 radical 2 plus 2 radical 2. And looky there, by simplifying that root, now we have common roots again. We're going to add their coefficients. So -3 plus 2 is a -1 radical 2. And again, we know likey the -1, we're just going to say negative radical 2. All right, let's do another example here. Let's look at number 2. A little bit more subtraction for us on this one. So right now, looking at these 3 terms, I don't see any common roots to start, any like terms. So I'm going to start simplifying. So when I'm looking at 8, I see 8 is 4 and 2, and then 4 is 2 and 2. So here's a group of 2's. They're going to come out and multiply to that 2. So now 2 times 2 is a 4. This 2 didn't have any pairs, so it stays inside the radical. This radical 3 is 1 times 3, no pairs there, so we're just going to bring it down. This radical 2, that's 1 times 2, no pairs there, so bring that down. And now again, when you look at your expression here, do you have any like terms? And you do. You have a like term here and a like term here. So you have 4 of a radical 2 on the left side, and you have 1 of a radical 2 over on this right side of the expression. So 4 minus 1 is a 3 radical 2 minus 2 radical 3. And you're all done on that one. Number 3. So number 3, we are multiplying things with the radicals in them. And you know how to do this from Algebra 1 and this class. You're just going to start distributing. So we're going to distribute radical 2 times radical 2. When you are multiplying radicals, you multiply their coefficients. So there's an invisible 1 in front of these radical 2's. So I know 1 times 1 is 1. Then you multiply the insides of the radicals. So 2 times 2 is a radical 4. After that, we're going to multiply radical 2 times 2. Notice that this 2 doesn't have a radical, so it's only multiplying to that invisible coefficient of 1. So 2 times 1 is a +2, and the radical 2 doesn't have anything to multiply by. Now we're going to multiply the 4. So 4 times radical 2 is 4 radical 2, and then 4 times 2 is 8. And I'm going to move these over just a smidge, just so you have a little bit more room. Okay. And then let me get this away so you don't have to look at it. If it'll let me, will it let me? Of course it won't let me. Okay, well, let's get some surgery going here. And let's start that way. Okay. So we look to see if we have any like terms. So I see 2 like terms here. So 2 plus 4 is a 6 radical 2. This 8 we're going to bring down. And then let's simplify the 4 into 2 and 2. So those come out and multiply to that 1 to become a positive 2. 2 plus 8 is 10. And we still have our 6 radical 2. And we're all done there. Okay, last one we're doing is number 4, when you're dividing radicals. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to look inside your radicals. We're dividing a 10 by an 8. Think about that as a fraction. Is there anything you can divide away to simplify it? And I know that a 10 and an 8 both have a 2 in common, so I'm going to divide 2 away to start. And that's going to give us radical 5 over radical 4. From here, you're going to rationalize. So rationalizing says, look at the denominator, and you're going to multiply that to the top and bottom, that radical 4, because we don't like radicals in the denominator. It makes it look yucky. So now you're just multiplying across. So radical 5 times radical 4 is radical 20. Radical 4 times radical 4 is radical 16. Now, I don't want you to simplify this fraction anymore. When you rationalize, don't simplify until you take care of your radicals first. So let's do some scratch work. Let's see what 20 breaks into first. So 20 I know is 4 and 5, and then 4 is 2 and 2. So I see a group of 2's right here, and a radical 5 that's going to stay inside. And then 16, let's break that up into 4 and 4, and then 2 and 2. I see 2 groups of 2. They're going to come out and multiply. So 2 times 2 is a 4. Now look to see if you can simplify. I see a 2 on top and a 4 on bottom. I'm going to divide both of those by a 2. 2 divided by 2 is a 1, radical 5. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And that's it. You're all done.